So you bought all the parts for your PC and the only thing left is to build it. But how? How is exactly where you are once, but since then I built dozens of these and today I'm gonna walk you through it step by step so you get it right on the first time. First, before we start building a PC, let's check if you have everything you need and if it's compatible. First on the list is the CPU. Next up, we will need a motherboard. They usually come in 3 different sizes: ATX, Micro ATX, Mini ATX, and make sure the CPU and your motherboard have a matching socket. Then a cooler to keep the CPU cool. They usually come with different brackets for better compatibility, but still just make sure it supports your socket. After that, we need RAM. Yeah, that one thing that made you bankrupt. It's either a DDR4 or DDR5, depending on what your motherboard supports. Next on the list is storage. NVMe or SATA SSDs or HDD. All motherboards support SATA SSDs and HDDs, and most boards support NVMe nowadays, since it got more popular in the last decade. After that is the beauty of the whole PC, the graphics card. But for it to work, we'll need a sufficient power supply. Just look up recommended PC wattage for your specific GPU and don't cheap out unless you want fireworks in your house. And the last component is the case where we're gonna combine everything. They have the same sizes as motherboards, just make sure they match. Smaller boards can also fit in the bigger cases, but without a screwdriver you can't build a PC, so make sure you have that too. Okay, after you made sure you have everything you need and it's fully compatible, let's get to building. The first thing, I start with the motherboard. So we got SSD right here. It's a 1 terabyte NVMe Ryzen 5 5600 and 32 gigs of RAM and a B550 motherboard.
After you done building.
I mean, usually you should check it in the beginning, but I know all the parts are working, so I'm not gonna do that. To install a CPU, we'll have to find a little triangle on one of the sides and align it with the motherboard's little triangle. It's pretty much the universal way to find what side you're supposed to put it in. After that, just slowly kind of drop the CPU in a socket until it's secure there. You can test it by doing a little wiggle.
If I put it at other side, does it still work?
It's not gonna go in if you put it the other way. And you gotta be careful with the pins, because you can easily bend these pins. If you bend one, most likely the CPU won't work. I mean, unless you get lucky and that pin is not super important, it's like a ground or something. After we install that CPU, I usually go with RAM. First, it goes to second and fourth slots in these 2 slots. So you put the RAM in the slot, so you make sure the short side is on the short side. And then you press it like this from 2 sides, press it down until you hear a click, and just do the same with the other ones. Okay, so I have this small micro SSD. What I did is I just 3D printed like the adapter for it, so this thing right here, just so it can extend to this screw right here. If you just put it in right now, if you put it like this, it's just not gonna go far enough for the screw, so that's why I need an extension for this. Fits. Boom, look at that. It's perfect for the screw to go in. So you got this small M.2 screw right here. You just screw it in. We also need to put some thermal paste and a cooler. So I use MX4, but you can use any thermal paste. Like if you buy a cooler, usually it will come with the thermal paste, so you don't have to pay like extra for thermal paste. And it's also a decent thermal paste, so you can just use that. So you can either put like in a cross like this, or you can just put a dot in the middle. I usually just put a dot in the middle, just enough. About pea size, should be good. If you even put a lot of it, it's not gonna matter. It's still gonna boot up because it's unconductive, but it's gonna be messy a bit. So you should probably not put too much. So not. We gonna install the cooler. There you go. I got it on there. Now we just boom, snap it in place like that, and it's good. Especially for this cooler, it's just a bit trickier. Any other ones are a bit easier to install. And then I'm gonna also attach the RGB thingy. The only RGB connector I see is actually 2 of them. Here it's JRGB. So there's 2 different ones. There's RGB and there's ARGB. ARGB is a addressable RGB, so it's a little better version. So here it calls G Rainbow 1. And 1 just stands for what port it is. So the next thing I usually do, I just put the motherboard to the side. Then I'll be getting out the PC case. So I got the case right here. It's a pretty nice case with 3 ARGB fans. So this one has a latch door, so you have to like pull it out and open it. You just open it like that and usually just lift it up. Yeah, just put it to the side where it doesn't gonna fall or anything. Pretty surprisingly, there's a filter inside this thingy. Like, this is first time I've seen that people put the dust filter with the instruction, because usually the filters are already like on the case instead. So this filter is on the bottom, which is also a bit different than usual, which is fine, not a big deal, just an interesting design choice. So in the back we should have some screws in there. There's 2 just manual screws that you can unscrew with your hands or use a screwdriver. So you just slide out back door, and as you can see, the cable's already actually really nicely pre-routed here. I'm actually surprised. So we got 4 ARGB fans connected to the hub. This hub gets powered by a SATA cable, like any SSD or HDD drive, and there's also a RGB that you can connect to motherboard. Perfect. On the bottom we also have cage for a drive, and we have all the screws that we needed. So first thing, after you like open the case, untied all the cables, found all the screws and stuff, you're gonna put all the cables inside the bottom of the PC, and then you're just gonna flip it. Boom. Whoa, a quick pause. If you're building along and something is not matching with what you're seeing here, my Discord server is the fastest way to get help. I'm there answering questions regularly. I also go live on Twitch almost every day if you want to ask me in real time. First thing, we'll get our motherboard that we put to the side. But one big thing, before you put the motherboard in, do not forget this thing right here. It's called IO shield. You need that. So this side with the pop outs right here is the front, and this is with the like inside thingy. You go in here and this thing right here, and then you just slide it in, and then you just push it in until it clicks from all the sides. Perfect. Before you can also put the motherboard in, you gotta make sure you have all the studs. Studs are these small things right here, and you gotta make sure there's enough. So like for micro ATX, there's gotta be some studs on here too, so 2 more. So what we're gonna do, probably in that screw case, there's probably somewhere there are gonna be the studs. Yeah, I see 2. Perfect, that's all we need. They're gonna look something like this. Just a little thingy. So you just pop it in and then screw it. Easy. And once you made sure that there's all the studs are right there, you'll just put in the motherboard. Again, you make sure the IO shield is there. All the studs are in the spot where they're supposed to be, and those studs everywhere. So, and then you will need motherboard screws. If you're not sure which screws to use, again, you can also check the manual from your case, and it should tell you exactly which screws to use, because some cases have different screws. Okay, once you screwed in all the screws is when you start to cable manage it. I would recommend do it in the beginning before you put the power supply in the PC, because it's just gonna be harder with the power supply. It has a bunch of cables. If it's not modular, it's just gonna be harder for you to route the cables and cable manage it. So we'll start from the back. I'm kind of gonna move between the back and the front. Usually first I like to do the front panel cables. The front panel is usually these cables. So the power cable, USB 3.0, USB power switch, and the audio cable. So all these small cables, we'll connect them on the other side. The audio cable goes usually bottom left. Motherboard manufacturers, for some reason, they just decided to put it in a left bottom corner. The name for the port is gonna be JOD1, and it can be different for your motherboard, but for MSI it's JOD1. And a 3.0 cable, this thing right here, we have it on the side. We have it right here. push it in that slot right there. Just not too much because the pins inside are pretty fragile and I already broke not once. So the next thing, we connected the system fans. It's just the case fans. For the CPU fan, it's gonna be called the CPU fan. It's literally called the same thing, so it's gonna be hard for you to miss it. Okay, we have a USB. So USB is usually called JUSB or just USB. So the cable itself gonna say USB. And then we have the front panel cables, which looks something like this. They're like super small. So we got power switch, power LED plus, power LED minus, and HDD LED plus minus. So on here, on the motherboard, it's gonna say exactly what it is. It's gonna tell you which pin is which. Perfect. And now we got our cables set it up there. And so I'm pretty sure this is all the cables you route. Sometimes some cases will have a type C on the front panel, so you will just put it in this port right here. Okay, and once you're done with the cables, you can start with the power supply, which is one of the last things you're gonna do. So the power supply goes in this bottom section right here. So we got our power supply. So usually you put the fan on the bottom because there is a bottom section for your power supply to slide into. So you need 4 screws for this, and then you're just gonna line it up and screw it in. Anyway, so you just screw in the power supply, boom, and now we have to cable manage the shit out of it. Now cable management, guys, what can I tell you? So we need one SATA cable, which we have, and the rest we can just stuff it in there as long as it doesn't fuck up anything else. Perfect. So the CPU cable, how do you know it's a CPU cable? First, it's gonna say it's a CPU. Second, it's gonna have a 4-pin connector, so it's gonna be 4 plus 4. The 6 plus 2 is the graphics card connector. So now we take this and we pull it all the way up there. There's the port right here, and you have to plug that CPU cable in there. So what I'm gonna do is gonna route it from the back, push it for the front there, and just curve it, and boom. The cable is in there. It's not gonna go anywhere. So now we need to connect our motherboard pin. So our motherboard is this big ass connector right here. For this you need big ass connector from the power supply, obviously. So the same pins, just route it there, push it in, and here you go. And you just plug it, boink, boink. Doesn't have to click necessarily, but it has to be in there with no spaces. So we got our motherboard connector, perfect. Now we get to the most fun part, is the GPU. You'll have to unscrew the lock, so it doesn't let you install the GPU, so you gotta take it off. Okay, so this case, usually the thing would just unscrew, but for some reason they made these things like breakable, which is stupid, but it is what it is. So I'm just gonna break it out. To be honest, I should have checked it earlier because it's a bit riskier with the motherboard here, because it could scratch the motherboard, which I do not want to do. But the thing is, I am not taking motherboard off again, bro. You could, but like, I am not trying to do all that. Oh my god. It's touching the motherboard. I do not like it. I don't like when it's touching the there you go. This is the stupidest thing ever, bro. I don't know why they decided to do this, even though they have already fucking holes in there to like do the screw in this. But whoever made this shit, I hate you, bro. Whoever designed this shit, it was a nice case until this point, bro. There you go. There you go. Okay, so when you have to break off the brackets, you can also use a screwdriver. Works surprisingly well. So before building the PC, you should check if the brackets are unscrewable, and you just slide it in and just heard the click. Boom. We're gonna use the same screws that we used for our PCU, so our power supply. Okay, and now we're gonna connect the GPU cable. So how do you know it's a GPU cable? It's a 6 plus 2, so oh yeah, there you go. And it's done. Everything hooked up. The back is I'll teach you some method how to cable manage, guys. The way you cable manage things, you have your back panel, right? So you have your back panel, so you just do like this. Boom, magic. And you don't have to do any cable management because you did it beforehand. Alright, here's the PC, guys. Okay, guys, let's do moment of truth. Let's see it. Come on, click it. Click it. Yeah.
That one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it turned on.
Oh, look at that. Sheesh.
Hello.
There you go. We got a post. Hey, we got it. Here's your PC.
Look at this. Look
Beautiful.
At his PC. Look at his PC.
Oh, what the fuck is this fan is not spinning though? Hold up. Oh, cause the cable was blocking it. That's fine. I fixed it. Okay.
Damn.
So this is it. This is my PC building guide. There's a chance by the end of this video you can lose some mustache, and if you like the video, please consider subscribing. By the way, this whole thing was live streamed on Twitch, so if you don't want to miss out on any other streams, make sure to follow me on Twitch. I stream almost every day. Thank you for watching. See you next time.